What's up, what's up, what's up? Inez here, and today we're going to talk about Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Now, being a gamer for about 8 years now, I consider myself a hardcore gamer. I don't know, I like to play a lot. And for people that are in my category, I think it's very important to pay attention to exactly what this new content Treyarch is putting out. Now, for people that don't play a lot of Call of Duty or are new to it or just want a more, a better general background, Treyarch is not exactly the best particular company to produce the franchise of Call of Duty. Now, the way in which we know this is that throughout the last two games they put out were absolutely terrible. From my perspective, I mean, you may think that Black Ops was pretty good or that World at War was pretty good. World at War was cool, but I mean, when it got to the multiplayer, it got really sketchy. In fact, the latency between Infinity Ward and Black Ops is so different that, in fact, Infinity Ward's latency is so much better. The fact that you can actually hit the person whether it's lagging or not. And the reason why I'm bringing up latency, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you other people you know this as well, is that lag does appear at times. I don't have the best internet, so with that said, I mean, come on, latency is one of those things that, you know, multiplayer just has to, figure out a way in which to really narrow it down and somehow fix it or get pretty close to it. And basically, starting from COD 4, which was made by Infinity Ward, I'm not gonna lie, the latency was absolutely terrible. You would have to guess where the person was because the actual person being displayed on the screen that you were shooting at was not the actual person, obviously because of lag. But the fact that they didn't have a good enough engine at the time to actually, get the real-time person and just put him in a laggish phase, so you can still get the hit markers, but he would still have the host advantage. And basically, the game, I'm not gonna lie, one of my favorite games of all time was COD 4, and I mean, I started playing it again, and it was pretty cool. And the latency got a little bit better. I guess they did something to it. Now moving on to, I guess you could say, World at War. Now, I don't know what happened to World at War, to be perfectly honest. It was a great game, single player and multiplayer, but I mean, in terms of the latency, it was absolutely horrendous. You basically might as well, given up on it. And the thing that I found out, about Call of Duty Black Ops 2, because you could see that Black Ops was sort of dying out as a multiplayer in the beginning, and then the zombies hit, and that's where things got really interesting, and that's where Treyarch, I personally think, made most of their success. That's why the last map pack for Call of Duty Black Ops was actually nothing but zombie maps. And it's kind of sad to see that happen, to be perfectly honest. Call of Duty is a absolutely great franchise for first-person multiplayer, and to see that they had to rely on zombies to really get the attention of the players, it's absolutely, it's just heartbreaking to see that sort of stuff happen. And the only reason I bring it up is because, when I was reading the comments for the premiere of the trailer, most of the comments, not all, but most of them were like, I can't wait to see what the zombies look like. The zombies must be insane. Go, for the win zombies, that sort of stuff. And it sort of made me think, like, wow, no one cares about what's going on in the single player or multiplayer. I personally play more multiplayer than anything. I only bring up the single player because there are people that play it, and it wouldn't be fair to, not talk about that particular issue as well. But Treyarch, they did do some good things. They implemented some new ideas in their in Black Ops. I did like how you could have, how they changed around the perks so that you could have scavenger and have a couple other attachments and that sort of stuff. I like their camos. Their guns are actually pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. What was it, the AK-74U? I mean, I barely play the game anymore, but when I was, that gun was absolutely insane. Whether they, brought down the damage level a little bit, that gun just raped everyone. And I mean, if you really use that gun a lot, you would understand that thing just murdered everything. You can get triples, multis. Heck, I'll even have a video where I just spawn trap the crap of everyone on the map. And I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, there were other guns that were really good, like the FAMAS or what was that, I can't remember what that gun was called. Galil, that was it. They had that and a couple other guns that were really good. And then Black Ops, they worked on, they made some improvements in some areas of the Call of Duty franchise, but not many. And with that said, to be perfectly honest, I really did not enjoy that particular game. The more I played it. Modern Warfare 3. Now we can get to Modern Warfare 3 before we move back to the Black Ops 2, because they all relate to the same thing, because they're all building up. Whether Infinity Ward represents Call of Duty better, which I think, Call of Duty is Call of Duty. Whether or not you like the game, most likely you're gonna buy it. Like, when Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3 are duking it out, you ended up, let's be honest, you ended up buying both of them. I mean, they're both really good games, so what the heck. But this next, Treyarch, they're not performing. The saddest part is they're the one that made the franchise. They're the one that actually made Call of Duty in the beginning. And Infinity Ward, a different company that didn't even come up with the thing. They're making better games, and I find that to be quite embarrassing for Treyarch. But what you gonna do? But moving on, from whatchamacallit, because the Call of Duty they go by Treyarch Infinity Ward, and I must say, like, Treyarch is just getting played out by Infinity Ward. And what was crazy too is that when they heard that Black Ops was coming out, a lot of people, because a lot of people don't really look up the extra stuff on the Call of Duty franchise. In fact, a lot of people thought the same people who were making Modern Warfare 2 were making Black Ops, and that was why a lot of people got hyped for Black Ops, and that's where they got a lot of sales. And what people didn't realize was the people who made World at War, which wasn't that great of a game. It was, great creativity and all, especially when they're bringing up, like the 80th World at War. World War II game. They really stepped it up. But as far as the game goes, a lot of people, didn't really like the game. But they loved Modern Warfare 2 and they loved COD 4. So when they heard about Black Ops, they're all like, oh crap, this is going to be the game. And they didn't realize the people that were making were the ones that make the, pretty crappy World at War. Black Ops, they had the same thing, and moving on to Black Ops 2, I'm just really not feeling it. Like, even though the game doesn't come out, they put so much new stuff in. I'm obviously, they have to listen to the community and be like, all right, there's new stuff coming out. What are we gonna do? And it makes sense that Treyarch finally gets their heads out of their butts and makes a game that's not in like the old ages, something recent like the Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2 or 3. And I don't want to hate, because I do like Call of Duty, so there are pros and cons, but I think they may have went a little bit more into the future than I hoped. Maybe like a couple of years after Modern Warfare 3, although it is, but as far as all these different weird UAVs and all that crap, they're kind of like missing the point that it's a first-person shooter and no one wants to shoot robots, they want to shoot people. As sad as that is to, say for a game, that's the way the FPS goes. It's first-person shooter, it's just the way Call of Duty works. And they sort of started taking away from it when I saw about the robots. Horses, I don't know what they were thinking, to be perfectly honest. It would seem pretty cool riding a horse with a gun in the modern age, but they just don't seem to go together if you logically think about it. But hey, what the heck, it's Call of Duty. It's not like Battlefield 3, which is like a real-life simulation up to par, like where they have tiniest details. But then again, Call of Duty has never really lost its marbles. Like I saw in this one, I saw basically aliens to horses all in like 2 minutes. Blew my mind, and then it took me like 20 more seconds to figure out really what the heck just happened. But as far as it goes, I think that Black Ops 2, they really need to step up their game. They know the kind of competition they're working against, especially after Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3, and they really battled that thing out. And the last thing any gamer wants to see is just a complete and utter disgrace to the Call of Duty series, once again, like Black Ops was. And you guys may have different opinions, but for a gamer that's played all the Call of Duties for quite a while, and to see like probably one of the most devastating Call of Duties, Black Ops, especially to the fact that it was a very slow-paced game. It wasn't quick. It was very rough. It wasn't so smooth as the Modern Warfare 2 and 3 engine, or even Modern Warfare, COD 4. Their whole graphics engine was so much smoother, and the gameplay was faster, so it was more competitive. Whereas the Black Ops and World at War were much more slow paced and, you know, a little bit gritty, nitty gritty from here and there. Although you could get a crap load of triple kills and all that, which I actually didn't mind. I really liked that. I like to see a lot of 50s and, you know, 100s and 250s pop up on my screen. But to be perfectly honest, I really didn't enjoy the game. It didn't feel like Call of Duty to me. Although technically it is, but you know what I mean. You know, from seeing just the rest of, you know, the Black Ops 2 trailer, there was a lot of stuff I didn't really like, just in terms of the graphics. Okay, the graphics in the beginning when they showed that old man, that was nice, but usually the graphics are nicer in the single player than the multiplayer, because obviously you're going to be working with database and servers and they're transferring information, so that means transferring graphics. So technically the single player graphics will be better, but with that in mind, you know, their multiplayer, you know, to a certain extent within the community is almost a joke. They really haven't been able to put out just like straight out multiplayer and really hammer it through. You know, they're just the quality of the game was not up to, you know, Call of Duty's normal standards. And I know that seems sort of harsh to say because it's in a completely different setup. Obviously, it's a completely different game, and people should be able to realize that. But if you really think about it, you know, Call of Duty, they have certain limits, and you can see when the community really doesn't like something or really doesn't like you know, like playing that particular game. There's a dramatic decrease in that game's traffic when Modern Warfare 3 came out. Obviously because Modern Warfare 3 came out, but you know, there's usually like a margin in which players will stay because they still like the game, and I did not see that at all. And with that said, you know, it's devastating to see something like that. But I mean, what you gonna do? You know, game is a game, gotta get over it. But it's sort of like their two previous games have pretty much foreshadowed what might possibly be another fail to the Call of Duty series. Now, I'm not gonna, you know, go fully commit to that because I could be absolutely wrong and just be mind blown by the next Call of Duty. But just seeing in their track record as far as Treyarch, they gotta step it up. They really do. That's really all that I gotta say. If you guys got any questions, you know, want to put in your little comment about, well, you know, I like my little Black Ops, and that's pretty cool. Well, you can definitely put that in there. I love reading your comments and, you know, seeing what you guys think. I love seeing different opinions and perspectives of the Call of Duty franchise. It's great. You know, start some crazy trolling back and forth pitch about your different views on the game. You know, love it all. Remember to comment, rate, and subscribe only if you like this video, guys. You know, don't kid yourself. But really, there'll be more videos out like this. This is actually, I think, my first video. So far, it seems going pretty well. So I guess I'll just keep going. So with that said, you know, from the advanced gamer's perspective, your man Inez out.